This episode brought to you by the concept of a back porch. Have you ever wanted to be inside but also be close to the conveniences of your living quarters? Well, why not try the concept of a back porch or even a deck? Are you on the 5th, 4th, 2nd, 3rd story of a big apartment building? Why not get a back deck? Do you want your neighbors to hear your personal conversations or even your public podcasts? Well, why not sit on your back porch? Use the promo code Hannah the Human to get $1 million off your next back porch purchase, which may come in handy if you need to renovate an entire apartment complex. Just call me up, Hannah the Human. I'm here for the concept of back porches. Let's hit that theme song. Oh, nice. We're going for existential vibes. Hannah the Human. I can get down with it. Get down with it. Get down with it. Hey folks, guess where I am? That's right, I'm on my back deck. Because if I had a front deck, it would be in the hallway in between me and the other apartment building, which wouldn't be outside, so it couldn't fulfill the wonderful blessings of a back deck. Do you hear that wind? It's spring here in the Midwest where I live, and that means that it's windy basically every day, all day, but it also is comfortable to sit outside, and so that's what I'm doing. I am enjoying all the fresh air I can. The sun only shines on my deck in the morning, and it is the afternoon, so I'm not getting any direct sunlight. It's okay, I'll survive. But I am getting the fresh air and the sultry, gusty spring breezes of what we call Iowa. Woo! Feel that wind. But why waste time on more superfluous words, even though that's what this podcast is? I'm just going to jump straight to it. We call such crazy things religion. And I guess it just depends what you define the word religion meaning. I've heard it defined as the thing that ligaments you together, the thing that holds you together, the thing that you can lean on when everything is going crazy in life. I've heard it described as a person's connection to God. I've heard religion described as the faith that one has in something bigger than themselves. I've heard religion used to describe people who are controlling, like, oh, they're religious, if you know what I mean. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Today, I'm using it to describe that thing we all aspire to, that connection to the divine, God, spirit, growth, love, whatever you call it, the thing that you do to connect to God and to become a better human being and to live more fully. That, in non-summary, is what I am using the word religion as right now, today, in this lovely podcast episode. I'm not using it to describe things in a negative context, meaning religion, in my context, is a positive thing. It's the thing we all want. It's the thing that will help bring unity to the world. It's the thing that whatever you believe is the truest thing, that's your religion. And my gosh. Oh, I say that because I'm thinking of all the things that were taught to me as positive, and this is what's going to be the key that unlocks your happiness and connection to God, and you're just going to live in the flow. And I mean, if you've thought of a positive thing, this is the way to it. And it's a bunch of bull crap. No, it isn't. It's not all a bunch of you-know-what. I've decided not to swear on this podcast. I might swear on it in the future, but for now we're keeping it clean. But let me tell you a story. There I was, dropping my car off at, I forget, it was around 9 a.m. at Walmart to get an oil change. The guy said, it'll be a bit of a wait, like, an hour, I'm thinking. And I said, no problem, because I had come prepared with my journal, my Bible, my backpack, and a reusable grocery bag to put Walmart groceries in, because I felt like I needed some food in my fridge since I only had like a pack of cheese and 2 slices of turkey. No carrots, no greens, no meat, besides for 2 slices of turkey. That's not enough for me. So there I was with my backpack on my back. I had dropped my keys off with the mechanic people at Walmart, and I was walking outside trying to find a bit of grass in the sunshine so I could sit down and journal and read this book that I've started about spiritual transformation. Wow. So there I walked along the concrete pavement until I saw just the spot, a piece of grass by a tree in the back of Walmart, so there weren't any cars driving by, no loud noises, and I sat down in the sunshine, my butt on the grass that was also kind of dirt, but it was mostly grass, and I whipped out my Bible and my little pen with the cap that I chew on, and my journal and my spiritual transformation book, and the chapter that I read this morning, because this story happened this morning. The chapter I read was about your heart. I'm only at the very, very beginning of this book, and this book is a paraphrase of another book, so it's just perfect for me. No, I'm a good reader, but I do like things made practical. A bunch of heady stuff is going to lose me 3 chapters in. But this book is a paraphrase of a book by Dallas Willard, a Christian guy who was into the concept of spiritual transformation. So he wrote this big old thick book about it. And then this spiritual advisor person went through and picked out pieces of those chapters and then broke them up into very tiny little chapters, little gold nuggets. And then every chapter has advice on how you can apply this to your life or a practice you can do. They are called experiments. So you can connect with what the concepts you read and start practicing to put the practice in practice. Woo! Anyway, back to my story. There I am sitting on the grass reading about the heart. And the experiment for today was try talking to your heart. Try talking to your soul, your spirit, your mind, your body. And tell it whatever, Tell it what you want it to hear and believe and do and be, because the chapter was saying that from the heart comes all your actions. And they were defining heart as that center of your being, the thing that connects your feelings and thoughts and actions and social interactions and beliefs. That's your heart, your spirit, and your soul. So there I am. I stand up. I'm walking around the grass and I'm just telling my heart, I'm saying, heart, I trust you. Heart, you have permission to give me guidance. And I'm talking to my soul and my spirit, my body. I'm saying you have permission to rest, telling it all these wonderful things that I can just feel all the different parts of me have been wanting to hear. And I love that this came from a freaking Christian devotional book. Because my experience with Christians and the heart is they make all these condescending jokes. The heart's deceitful above all things. Trust your gut? That's so dumb. We're smarter. We got the Bible. We got the Spirit of God. But don't listen to your spirit inside you. Oh, icky, yucky, because you're just a pile of bad crap. You can't give yourself any wise advice, so trust Jesus. And you're like, okay, got it. I'm a pile of insanity, but thank God for Jesus because he'll make sense of my life. I love that I got encouragement to trust myself, to empower myself from a Christian book that used Bible verses to help understand this concept. It made me realize how much stupidity we call religion. Thus the title. You call that religion? You call distrusting your ability to connect with God? You call that religion? You call trying to do the right and good thing? You call that religion? You call forcing yourself to be good? You call that religion? Going to a certain ritual every week. You call that religion? Caring about what some person says more than what your own heart is saying, just because that person has the title pastor in front of their name. You call that religion? All of that is supposed to get you to this life of joy and peace and connection? All of those things I listed have given me not eternal life, but eternal strife. Whew. And I'm going to get more specific for just a moment. It's been really hard over the last few years for me to see the beauty of Christianity, the Bible, things associated with that religion. And so it's felt really difficult as I felt a pull to that, as I felt, okay, I think this is the truth. I think this is how I want to live my life. As I'm feeling a pull towards that, I'm also feeling so pushed away by all these concepts that are so destructive, that are so antithetical to love. And so I realize now that I've chosen a religion that I do love, how angry I get that all of this was made out to be the end all be all. Christianity has been associated with striving, with caring about your social status and how people view you. It's been associated with denying the intuition you have inside of you. It's been associated in my mind with abandoning my own soul. It's been associated with emotional instability, emotional unintelligence, abuse and power, not physical abuse, but spiritual abuse, meaning using spirituality to control, even when unintentional. And that's so destructive. And I think that's what hit me today. The anger and the sadness of all that insufficiency, but it was chalked up to be the thing, the goal. And so when it left me empty and dry, the only response is try harder. It's going to work sometime. I guess the frustrating thing is that I almost got convinced I had to find another God instead of realize there was just a different method to interact with the loving God I knew. I'm frustrated that beliefs that I'm discovering actually really do give me life were associated with destruction. I'm frustrated that it felt like I had to change the things I did, not simply the method or motivation from which I did those things. Like, for me, some religious beliefs I do. I rest on Saturday because that's what the Bible says. It says to rest on the seventh day. And the way I interpret that for myself is I don't work on Saturdays. And I was telling a coworker why Saturday means a lot more than like Monday or Tuesday. It's because for years, thousands of years, that's been the day that the people of God rest. You know, like a lot of Jews experience persecution because of that, but they stood firm. Like there's a justice behind that day for me that means a lot more than other days. And the real reason is I've tried resting on other days, but it just didn't feel quite right. So I rest on Saturday. See, the frustration lies in how I associated that beneficial thing, Sabbath, resting, with striving, with judgment, with unkind selfishness, criticism, insecurity, fear. Because people doing all these things and living life in that hurtful way did Sabbath and stuff like that. And so you associate, oh, that can't be beneficial because the way I'm being treated by the people doing it isn't beneficial. And I would say it's not that I've ever been treated mean or poorly by people who do that. Okay? Fortunately, I haven't found myself in an abusive church. There's plenty of those, I hear, but fortunately, I have been around really nice religious people. However, I have found many of them to be incapable of going deeper, incapable of following me down the paths of grief or loss or change or spiritual transformation. I've found those people to be really supportive of staying stuck, of continuing to try to find salvation in the action, not the source from which the action comes, your freaking soul, your inner world. And people who go and pursue healing on the inside and underneath, and who go dig and search and get off their little butts and say, you know, sitting cross-legged in the desert is no longer satisfying. I'm tired of waiting for the water to show up. I'm going to try to find it. That's criticized. That's criticized by the people who say that they live from love. And that's criticized by the people who say that they desire truth above all things. No, they don't desire truth above all things. They desire being right above the truth. They desire being safe above loving. And at the same time, I need to make it clear that this is my experience of certain people's reaction to when I ask questions or when I live in a way that's different than them. And I find a lot of this response in the Christian circle. And even from the people who are like, we're all about love and relationships, and God wants to hear your hard questions. I don't know. I just really haven't found any help for walking through certain aspects of my life from that group of people. I found a lot of help from people who don't subscribe to a religion, who are more spiritual, who are about love, who don't at all agree that the Bible is from God. I found a lot of people who can give guidance when they're outside of the Christian religion. And so it's made me think, I guess the Christian religion doesn't have anything to offer. Because, you know, they offered a nice potato salad, but I kind of need more than a potato salad when I'm wondering why my mom is struggling with addiction. 10 years. When I'm wondering why I don't have peace in my soul. When I'm wondering why I keep doing the same darn things over and over again and I don't want to. And at the same time, I had to get deserted. I had to feel deserted by the things that were no longer for me. So even as I'm complaining and ranting, I'm also grateful that I hit that wall, because I do believe that the truth will resurface, you know? That what actually is genuinely really true will come to light. And so, you know, fast forward the script. I am doing a lot of the Christian actions, but I really don't give as much weight to the actions that I do. I give a lot more weight to why I'm doing them and from where I'm doing them. I feel hypocritical in a way, honestly, saying this, because I know a lot of people who don't find the actions of Christianity at all helpful. And the things I find life in, like Sabbath and doing the feasts in the Bible and reading the scripture, they don't find fulfillment in that. They can agree with, like, yeah, the love your neighbor part, but they can't agree with a lot of other things that I do. Like, it actually comes across as negative to them. So I just want to acknowledge that like, perhaps I'm the cause of desolation and desertion to others that other people have been to me. But maybe that's my role in their story. I'm their wall that they bump up against. Either way, I do want to call this out, though, for anybody who subscribes to any religion. I just want to let you know that being right is so alienating if you're not more concerned with giving validity to people's experiences. Because if your focus is just, oh, I just want to find the ultimate truth, then you're going to miss the story. And you'll probably miss the truth too. And I'm saying this to myself as well. What's the story that I want my life to tell? Because no one's going to care at all what truths I believed in. They're going to care about the experience that I left them with. And you know what? More and more, I'm realizing that I need to get comfortable with the experience that I leave some people being uncomfortable. You know, like, oh, my experience of Hannah is I don't really feel safe. I don't feel secure in my opinions, and she just makes me scared because she does a bunch of stuff that's so messed up and just I kind of need to be okay with people's experience of me being that. And certain people who I really care about, if that's their experience, then I'm going to dig in and I'm going to look at how I'm living my life and I might change a few things. But if people who are living from paradigms that I don't value are offended by me, then I don't really care what their experience of me is. Meaning, like, if somebody comes across to me as judgmental and they don't really want to be concerned about hearing people's experiences, they're more concerned with being right or sharing their opinion with the world, then they're playing a whole different game than I am, you know? And I can't convince them to value what I value. I can't convince them to value relationship like I do. Nor are they going to convince me to value what they value. So in that case, I just need to own that I'm probably going to make them uncomfortable, just like they make me annoyed. But for anybody who wants to join in on this game that I like playing, called I Want to Hear People's Experiences, and I do believe that I will be known for the experience people had of me and not for the beliefs I had. If you want to join in on that, I would highly encourage you to question, to ask, to listen. And I guess I just want to be a voice for people like me who see the world differently than some people who care about religion being all of that I complained about. I just want to be a voice for people who stay in the religion, for people who do the actions even when their motivation and method is antithetical to the other people in the club. And now I shall read to you a poem, because I write poems. And this one is called When I Smile in Both Worlds. I hope I never recover from my humanity. Last night, I was on my 5th shot of tequila, flirting with a guy from the Navy, sporting a cute blonde mustache. Tonight, I sat around a kitchen table with friends I've known for years, eating the best tasting homemade soup, and then we made some sourdough and talked about essential oils, gluten-free bread, and allergic reactions to soap. I know those friends would have run out the first exit they saw in the casino I lost $20 at last night. I have no clue if the cute guy with the mustache values sourdough bread and the way ice-covered trees sparkle like magic in the moonlight. But I know I belong in all of it. The cigarette soaked carpet, and the amen of a grateful prayer around the aroma of buttery biscuits. If this duality is sin, I don't want to be a saint. I've never felt so saved as the way I feel when I smile in both worlds. Well, I hope you like that poem, because I sure like it. I hope that you feel encouraged by what I've shared, and I would encourage you, if it feels cool and seems like a interesting idea, try it. Try talking to your own heart, your own soul, body, whatever, you know? Tell it what you believe. Tell it, whatever you sense you need to hear. And yeah, it was really a cool experience for me. So it could easily be cool for you. And speaking of cool experiences, I did just want to give you a life update before I end this little episode. I did some traveling, quite a lot, honestly. I was gone for 4 days, but I flew and rented a car and rode in a Greyhound bus and public transportation and was in multiple different cities, and it was a lot. So basically what happened is on Monday of last week, I flew out to California, and I flew out around noon. So thank God it wasn't one of my early flights that I usually do because they're so inexpensive. And then I'm always like, no, why didn't I spend the $50 more so I don't have to wake up at 3 a.m.? And so this was a great flight. I spent the $70 more and got the convenient time. Go me. And so at about noon, I flew out of Omaha, did a layover, and then arrived in California, San Francisco, about 6:30 p.m., got on BART, which is the public transportation, rode that, met up with my uncle, who joined me in BART. We rode on that, got to my aunt and uncle's house, spent the night, woke up the next morning, went with my uncle and cousins as they were dropped off at school. My uncle drove me to pick up a car that I rented. Then I loaded my 2 bags in there and took off and surprised my friend Mimi. You remember her from last week's episode. I surprised her for her birthday. And so drove up into the mountains a few hours away, spent the afternoon and that night with her and her family. The next morning, hit the road pretty early and drove back to the Bay Area, dropped off my car, got an Uber to the BART station, rode BART to the West Oakland Greyhound bus station, hopped on a Greyhound bus, rode that up to Santa Rosa, California, where I was then picked up by my twin sister, and then I saw my mom, and then I went with my sister to see my other sister perform in a play, which was awesome. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Like, I loved the play. I loved everybody's performances in it. Okay, maybe not everybody's, but mostly everybody's. I loved the dialogue and the lines, and it was just very funny and thought-provoking. And of course, that's my sister who acts incredible. Oh my gosh, don't you love it when you see people you love being awesome? It is just the best. And then I hung out with Millie and her theater friends, and then I drove a friend's car to her house and then spent the night there and woke up 7 hours later and then hopped in that friend's car and she drove me back into Santa Rosa, only 20 minutes away. And then I hung out with my sisters, Millie and Emma, and that was fun because we had brunch and then Millie had to go to class and then Emma and I hung out at a park. And if you haven't tried being 24 years old and climbing on the top of a swing set, you might want to try. It's pretty fun. Emma encouraged me and, pushed me because I was like, ow, it kind of hurts my hands. It's kind of more uncomfortable than I remember it as a kid. But I got on top of that swing set. Like how the swings hang from the big bar, Well, we climbed up another bar. They were just straight, so you had to grab onto the swing cable and use that to leverage yourself against the pole, and then you climb up and then you get your legs on the top bar and then you pull yourself with your legs up on top, and then there you go. Emma, because she's brave and skilled and a farmer, because farmers are really some of the most athletic people I know, at least Emma, because she's an amazing farmer. But she walked across it. It took her 3 tries. She had to fall off twice, and that she said it wasn't a far fall, but I watched her fall, and it kind of was a far drop, to fall off. But the 3rd time, she walked across it, balancing incredibly. I scooted across on my stomach, and that's how I got across it. And then I was too scared to jump down, so I slid down the pole and then laid in the sun. And then what happened next? Oh, yeah. Then I said goodbye to Millie because she was done with her class. And off we went to... Oh, wait, no. I said bye to Millie, and then I drove my friend's car to pick her up from work, and then we went out for lunch. And then after lunch, we picked Emma up, and then we drove to the airport, and then I flew back, had a layover in Denver, and got to Omaha at 1 a.m. So it was technically Friday or late Thursday night, however you look at it. Whew. So then I got back, and then I worked that evening. Fortunately, I did not have to work in the morning, thank God, because I slept until like 11, and ta-da! That is how you travel sporadically around California. And that is the last of my travels for a while. I have done 4 trips since the beginning of the year, and I am ready for a rest. I love traveling. It's been super fun. And I'm also ready to just save money and, get ready for the next travels that I'm going to do. Because I already have a big road trip I want to do in the summer to see everybody that I love. Well, not everybody, but a large chunk of people I love that I haven't seen in a while. I want to really spend time in California, not just flit by everybody and say hi for 2 hours, but really drive around because I have friends in a lot of different cities in California, Northern California. So I want to drive down there. I want to spend some time in beloved Idaho. I spent last summer in Idaho, and I just, so many cells in my body are crying out to be there on a warm summer day at the creek behind my sister's farm, laying out, sunbathing on the rocks. Oh my, yes, Lord. Oh, splash in the cold, crystal clear, fresh creek that comes straight off the mountains. Splash around. One of the best memories I had was walking along the river or the creek because it dries out at the end of summer, and it was near the end of summer. So we were walking along the dry parts of the creek, the big stones and the little stones, the creek bed. Me and my friend, and sipping, each of us had a beer, and we were sipping and just walking along and then jumping in, and then, the sun was setting. I mean, don't you feel your soul crying out with joy hearing about this? I mean, just picture it. A warm but not super hot summer evening. The sky is pink. It's reflecting off of the clear pool of a mountain creek. You're just walking with your friend, jumping in the water, sipping some delicious beer, and then you walk back. The sun keeps setting. You walk through the woods back to the home. Now the stars are starting to come out as you get to the front wooden porch. And then you walk in, and there's a bunch of warm light, some fresh, farm fresh milk to drink. Maybe a little cereal to go with it. Come on, give me that good life. So I need a little refreshment of that this summer. So definitely planning on going out there. And I have rambled long enough, I've decided. So may you have a wonderful week. If you guys have certain topics you want to hear my thoughts about, please let me know. I guess you could leave a comment on the podcast, or you could message me on Facebook or Instagram. I check Instagram more, so you might want to do that one. My username is Hannah the Human Official. That's Hannah the Human Official. So official, because Hannah the Human was already taken. So I just added official on there. And you can message me. Just preface it with, hey, I was listening to your podcast. My name is so-and-so, because otherwise I may think you're a weird scammer. If you have my phone number, you can text me too. Because basically it's just like my friends who listen to podcasts. So anyway, if you have any ideas that you want to hear me talk about in future episodes, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that, may you have peace.